Hey there, sixth graders. In this video, I'm going to go through your class directions of what it is that you have to do since I'm not here at school today. Go through, talk about what it is that I'm going to look for when I come back to school to make sure that you did some stuff as well as listen to this video. And then talk through a couple other things as we go through it. So let's go ahead and jump right in with kind of the outlook for what you're going to work on today. So obviously, first thing is I want you to watch the video because I'm going to go through everything that you need to do. That includes going through after this, you're going to work on a Kahoot individually. And this is a preview Kahoot. Talk more about that in a second. Also, there is the reading guide, which I showed you guys at the end of class yesterday, even though you didn't get started on it. I had you guys open up the document and I showed you the books. And then third thing, I have a couple of things of some websites that you can kind of go through and just look around if you get to it at the end. We do have shortened classes today because of the talent show at the end. So I'm not sure you'll get to the third thing where you can look at those websites, but that stuff we'll get to next week if you don't get to it. All right, so let me shrink here my screen a little bit so that you can see Google Classroom. And let me just go through. I don't want you doing anything yet. I just want you to go through and listen as I go through and show you what it is that you're going to work through today. So in classwork, you guys got this video underneath the post under motion here that said class directions. And yes, I know the video isn't there yet because guess what? I'm making it right now. All right, when you're done with the video, the very first thing you have to do is you have to do this Kahoot. And it is a preview Kahoot. It is looking at what's called basic motion graphs. So there are speed versus time graphs and distance versus time graphs. And that's where we're going to actually spend a big chunk of this unit with motion is in graph interpretation, being able to understand motion by actually not seeing the motion, but by being able to interpret the graph. So it's going to sound very like math class in here, so I'm sorry, but that's just how it works for science. Often with physical science is that we're looking at a lot of math with science. That is not for a grade, but listen closely. I am checking that you finished that. That is going to be my way to tell that you got something accomplished during class today. If you do not finish that Kahoot, it is a 0 in the grade book and you do not get a chance to redo it. You have to do something when I'm not there. That is the expectation. You should be doing more than just that, but I'm cutting the line really easy so there's no question that if you ran out of time or not. Everyone can get this done, even if you're a little bit late to class because whatever reason, late to school for first period, whatever it might be, you could get this done in class. And so that's the cut line. You got to get done that Kahoot. Once you're done with the Kahoot, you're going to come back to Google Classroom. You're going to go to the reading guide from yesterday. The doc is there. When you open it up, it's going to tell you what pages to use. And the book, which is in the back of the classroom, you'll have to get one of these. It tells you, look here on the screen right here, right? 432 to 435. They go in order. Okay? Most of them are right there, meaning the words are exactly the same. Not every one, though. So you're going to have to read a little bit. Okay? Read a little bit as you go through it, but it's pretty simple. There are 15 of those. All right, so try to work your way through that. If you finish that, here's the next thing that you can do. And if you don't, that's okay, as long as you're working on it, okay? As long as you're working on it, that's okay. If you finish it, come back to the class directions post in Google Classroom. And I have 2 other websites on here. One is another PhET sim that you can play around with forces in motion that we're going to use in this unit. The other one has to do with energy, which we never got a chance to do this fun one. It's a roller coaster simulator. All right, it takes you to this website, and you scroll about halfway down the page. There you go. That's all it is this little guy here. When you hit play, you see the little roller coaster car. And your job is to adjust to make it so that it works, so that the roller coaster is able to go to the end. Right now, it doesn't work. How do you do that? Well, you can Make all kinds of changes here. You have changes to the initial hill that you can do, to the second hill, to the loop, the speed for the roller coaster, how heavy the mass. You could change gravity, like you would be on a different planet with more or less gravity, and you could change the amount of friction. And so the goal is to get a working roller coaster that is able to go through and do, oh, that wasn't. That would not be good if that happened in real life, right? So that's a fun one that you can play around with too. All right. Those are the activities for today since I'm not here. I need you to make sure that you are flexible with the substitute teacher, meaning if they tell you something that's different than I normally would, you got to go with it. I'm not there. They're in charge. They're the adult. If Ms. Perbola or Mr. Visker is in the room, depending on which class periods you're in, and they want you to come out and work with them, you got to listen to them, okay? You got to be flexible on days when I'm not here, but you also have to get work done. And those two things are my big expectations when I'm not there. All right. I will see you guys soon. Have a good rest of your day. Talk soon.